Welcome to Health and Fitness for Immortality number 10. Okay, and here I come. All right, guys, let's get right to it, I guess. I did watch a little something about Cuba that they're trying to bring Raul Castro up on charges for the deaths of some Americans back in the 1990s. My one basic thought on that is that when all of Earth, every human being on Earth accepts God's instructions, his one and only instructions, the Torah, and you know that you have 7 obligations you Gentiles to fulfill, and every nation on earth that's not Israel should be based on those 7 laws of Noah. Israel should be based on the 613 obligations for the Jewish people, because that's where we're supposed to live. But all these Gentile nations, which includes Cuba, should operate according to the 7 laws of Noah, and the law should be the same, to my understanding, unless I'm missing something, in every place, every country. There's like 262 countries in the 7 continents, along with their dependencies and territories. It's about 262. I looked on the CIA's website. Go check that out. It's a good source for information. I think it's called the CIA website. There's another website called SIL, S-I-L, that has to do with languages, but this CIA website, they give you the background, the what, why, and how of every place on earth. It's very good source. So if we're all following, if you Gentiles are following the 7 laws of Noah, then I think everything would be smooth. You know, here when you're in different countries, you got some countries that are communist, some that are democratic, communistic, democratic, kingships, dictatorships, all these different laws, man-made laws imposed upon mankind. That's not good. Just use God's laws and you'll have civilized societies in each group. No one's going to murder because you'll get death probably by decapitation. So I would think Mr. Castro would not have done such a thing. So can you guys hear me? Let me just check. You there? Okay. Do you play piano? Yes, I do play piano. Can you hear me, Alan? Yes or no? Please tell me, because I always have trouble with people hearing me. I'm assuming there's, and the people leave. Why do you leave then? Yes. Okay. Excellent. Thank you. Yes, I do play piano. That's what I do for a living. I'm a professional pianist. Anyway, so that's the point regarding Cuba, that if it was operating according to the 7 laws of Noah, it would be easy to administer justice throughout the entire globe of Earth. There would be no discrepancies. Oh, what are you taking? You're going to take this leader from this country and bring him to another country and try him there. I know people have problems with that. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say on that. Let's read the 7 laws of Noah, and if we get through them all, then maybe I can get the 10 commandments and put them side by side with the 7 laws, and we'll compare and contrast so you understand the difference between the 10 commandments and the 7 laws of Noah. A lot of Gentiles think they're responsible. You've been misled all these years, misinformed, and you think you have the 10 commandments, and those 10 commandments belong to me as a Jew. Jewish people have the 10 commandments. We have an obligation to keep the Sabbath in there. You'll see, we'll get to them, God willing. All right, so let's plow through. We're on obligation 4. Do not have 6 forbidden sexual relations. We started it last week, and I said, just to recap, the sources are Midrash derives from Bereshis 2:16, 2:24, 20 verse 13, 20 verse 3, Jeremiah 3:1, Rambam and Hilchos Malachim 9:1 and 5 through 8. So chapter 9, halacha 1, and then halacha 5 through 8, to my understanding. The reason is to establish a moral and stable society. That's what the Rambam says. Punishment in general, you get death by decapitation if you violate any of these sexual offenses. Reward is you're considered pious and you merit a share in the world to come. Okay, so here are the details. A Gentile male. So we have a Gentile male and a Gentile female. Different laws. They're not exactly parallel. Because, also I think men were able to marry many wives. So it throws things off kilter. I think a woman can only have one husband. So when we get to it, that's one little insight to be aware of. And then nothing else is coming to mind, but we'll see as it comes. Okay, so a Gentile male, do not be intimate with your mother. That's your biological mother, even though she was seduced or raped by your father and never married to him. Regardless, she is your mother. You came from her. You came from her stomach, right? 2, your father's wife. Do not be intimate with your father's wife, I guess, if that's not your biological mother. Even after your death, yes, and I came up with even after your father's death, and I said the reason may be because maybe they're one flesh, they're considered one flesh. That's just a question I have. I got to check it with my Rav and see what the Messorah says and the Unbroken Chain of Authoritative Teaching from the event at Sinai until today. We have a Messorah, a chain of information that tells us what God meant with these. These have been around since Noah. God has wanted you Gentiles to fulfill these laws since Noah, and 6 of them were given to Adam, the first man, Adam Arishon. He had 6. Noah was given the 7th, which is do not eat the flesh or a limb of an animal while it's still alive. I guess, he's on that ark with 2 of each kind of animal. It's an easy way to remember it. And then he gets off, or in Noah's time, God gave him that obligation. I'll have to find out when exactly he received that obligation. I don't know if it was before the ark or after the ark. I forgot. So 2, your father's wife, even after your father's death. 3, a married woman. Okay? And if you got questions or points, put them there. Maybe I'll finish this obligation. I'll see if there are any questions. And then I'll do the next obligation. We'll do questions like that, okay? Now, a married woman. So 3, you're not supposed to be intimate. A Gentile male is not supposed, do not be intimate with a married woman. With a Gentile woman, you are not executed if you were intimate in an abnormal manner before a consummated marriage. So I'm going to read these. Sometimes it's a little tricky. We'll have to come back to it, or you'll inquire and you'll think about it, and we'll get all the details understood. And then I'm going to try to chart it out and make my presentation, my summation a little clearer, because I want to word it, do not this, do not that. So it just hits right home, and I'll put them in order. I don't know if I have to check the Rambam's order and understand why he wrote it in that order, and if there's anything that needs to be changed, we'll try to change it. But I'm trying to stay close to what the Messorah is. You are not executed if you were intimate in an abnormal manner. So there are normal manners in which we have sexual intercourse. When a chassan, a young Jewish man, marries a young Jewish bride, it doesn't even have to be young, I guess, whatever, they get taken aside by the rabbi. And nowadays, I think he gives a CD, and on there he's got all the information as to how to relate to your wife intimately. And there are certain positions that are not permitted by God. Everything we do on earth has laws attached to it. God gives you think this is rough? We have 613. You only got 7. I'm just giving you the details of the 7. You have to be, when you are intimate the way God wants you to be intimate, then you are aware of Him It says in the Torah, in all your ways know him. In all your ways know God. So everything you do, even when you eat, when you go to the bathroom, you got to think, I'm now fulfilling the commandment of my Creator, such and such. So you guys only have 7 laws. Memorize them. Do not worship idols. Do not curse our Creator's name. Do not murder. Do not have 6 forbidden sexual relations. Do not steal or kidnap. Do not eat the flesh or limb of an animal while it's still alive. Do not fail to set up courts of law to adjudicate the other 6 obligations. Do set up courts of law. When you have it memorized like that, and that's so easy, I don't even have to try hard with that anymore. The 613 are rough for me. I have to review them again. 1, do be fruitful, multiply. 2, do circumcise. 3, do not eat the sin of the thigh vein. 4, now we're into the book of, this is Bereshis, now we're into the book of Shmos. Do sanctify Rosh Chodesh. And it's on and on. And I memorize them that way. When you have it like that down pat, that's going to help you get immortality. One of my people here is studying, wanted to know more about immortality. I guess that is a very attractive concept. People do not want to die. Nobody wants to die, and rightly so. Why should we? It's embarrassing to be dead. To die? I mean, I know great rabbis that have died. That's embarrassing. If they're so great, they should still be here. God should have made them immortal. Maybe Hashem has his reasons that he did not make them, and they're still great. It doesn't affect their greatness, yet doesn't make them look too good either, I'll tell you that much. So I think we need to remove any distraction, any reason why we should not stay here immortally. So we got to figure out, that's why I gave us 6 categories. I noticed in my studying of Torah that spiritually, socially, mentally, emotionally, physically, and financially, that covers everything about life and living. And if we look at it that way meticulously, we can root out any weeds in our beautiful garden that we call ourselves. We're making ourselves into a beautiful garden that has to sprout and blossom and stay here eternally. And we have to constantly water our garden. We are the flower that's blooming. So we want to pull out the weeds. What's tripping us up? Okay, this guy eats a lot of sugar. That ruins the physical area. He's headed for death. He's not doing too well. The body can only handle so much. As you get older, you'll see sugar's not good. I think cancers live in sugar. They feed on that garbage. Don't do it. This guy puts tattoos, wants to be cool. He's got like an ego problem, has to look tough, right? So he puts tattoos all over himself, writes himself up, writes on himself like he's a piece of artwork, like he thinks he's, a canvas. Hashem loaned him a body, and he's writing all over himself, right? First of all, I think that paint, that ink gets in there. I don't like it. I don't trust it. It has to do some type of damage. I bet if you opened up an organ and you looked inside there, I bet it's blue or black. It's got to be something going on in there. That just doesn't sit there and look. I don't like it. Something's wrong with it. And people, how do you get rid of it? Then you got to, I don't know what they're using. It's some type of turpentine, or I don't know what it is. It's some type of acid, and they're scraping it, and it never looks the same. I knew a guy, he had tattoos all over him, and I think maybe with time, they either, made a bad look. It smeared, or he tried to remove them. It don't come off. Then the arm looks black or brown or blue or something. It don't look right. Don't do that kind of stuff. So let's pull out the weeds. Think. Start from scratch. You younger folk hopefully will have it a little easier than the older folk because you probably haven't damaged your body yet, although some of you are a little not so cautious, and you do stupid stuff to yourself while you're young. Piercing ears, putting a big hole in your ear, you want to be real cool, want to hang stuff, ornaments, and you want to ornament yourself. What are you, like in the jungle? Don't do stuff like that. I wouldn't mess with it. You can get infections. You can do all kinds of wrong things. Just leave your body the way it is. Make it better. Don't damage it. All right, so that's what we're doing, pulling out the weeds. So let's see here. You are not actually, So there's an abnormal, so I was saying that in all your ways know him. Don't be upset with that. I know it's hard because you're not used to obligations. I wasn't used to it either, and it's a little difficult to get used to having to, everything I do is being watched and looked at, and I'm being measured and judged, and yeah, that's what this place is. This ain't playtime at the zoo. I'm done. I hate to break it to you. I hope I can do it with a good sense of humor and ease you into it. I love you. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm trying to pamper you a little bit and show you that this place, it's a test world, man. It's a testing, challenge world. And this is where we get challenged and tested. We only have 120 years if we're fortunate to be here. That's why I say make every action an obligation fulfilling action. You always hear people say, if I only had 10 hours to live, what would I do? Make every action an obligation fulfilling action. And you don't know what you ring up the register. Ding, my dad was an accountant. I hear in the other room, ding, ding. He's adding columns of numbers. Rack up the mitzvahs. Just make your whole day filled with mitzvot. Do 2 or 3 at a time, 4 at a time. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, all 7. Boom, with this. I'm eating right now. If you're a Gentile, I'm eating, so you're fulfilling all of the obligations because you won't have the strength to not worship idols, to not curse God's name. You need food in your body. You can use your head. Think. Try to get shrewd, get meticulous, get wise. Do not murder. You got to have the strength to resist that urge in you. You were raised amongst Gentiles with a false religion. All they teach you is to hate and murder. And now you got problems because now you got to resist murdering. Oh, and you need the strength. You better get a good meal in you. Get some of those grape leaves, some of those little hummus, and some pita, and dip in them, and some nice salad stuff, Israeli salad. Back out there in the Middle East. Do not murder. Do not have 6 forbidden sexual relations. You're going to have to bridle yourself. You need strength. Do not steal or kidnap. They train you on October 7th to go in there and take everybody and cut their heads off, chop off the babies, kill them. What do you call it? Demoralize, take away their dignity. So you have to resist that temptation. You better have a good meal in your system. That's the way you're trained. That's your mentality. Think of the schus you'll get, the reward for not doing these terrible things, right? So you better have a good meal. Do not eat the flesh or limb of an animal. Have a nice vegetable meal on the side quickly so you don't have to look at an animal and think, wow, that's supper. So, and do not fail to set up courts of law. Maybe you're on the board to set up the courts, and you're not going to show up there, famished, right? Famished, as we say. So here you're eating a meal, and you're fulfilling all 7 obligations. Rack it up like that. Boom. Main course, dessert. You're getting it every time. Use your head. And earn the world to come. That's why we're here. To earn the world to come, not to play around and hurt each other and to enjoy and have, pleasure ourselves. Yes, pleasures are here. God made it. He gave us pleasures to give us peace of mind to continue to fulfill obligations. Different way. It's not what you're used to. It's not going from pleasure to pleasure. It's pleasurable for you guys to kill people and intimidate them and hurt people. You like that. You're trained to hate and, don't do it. Resist. Fulfill the obligations that God gave you. Don't violate these 7 laws. They have very strict punishments. Don't think for a second that just because you have 7 and we have 613 that, you got it easier. You have 7 obligations that pretty much cover every aspect of human society and civilization and how human thought works, and it's all covered there in the 7. Just like I was telling a gentleman that the 10 Commandments encapsulate all 613. Supposedly my Rav said they fit. I kind of could see, like off the cuff, how they do maybe all the time-related mitzvahs like Shabbos and Yom Tov all fit into the do remember Sabbath obligation of the Ten Commandments. So I could see how it would work. We'll get to that. But think like that, where you're earning all the time. And you're not even allowed to have a rest, you Gentiles. You don't get a Sabbath. I guess God felt that you only got 7. So in one way, you have a lot to do with a lot of details, and another way, you only got 7. So you don't need a Shabbos to rest. We do. God knows I do. I get to the Shabbos and I am, wow, thank God. You used to say, thank God it's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Thank God it's Friday night. Wow. I can see where that restaurant came from. Probably some very frustrated Jew who's working real hard, and he's so happy that it's Sabbath. Although the restaurant works on Sabbath, so that doesn't really count. Maybe it's probably some irreligious Jew that formed it. I don't know. I'm just guessing. All right, so let's get back to work. So a married woman with a Gentile woman, okay, you are not executed in the abnormal manner. So an abnormal manner probably might be, I'm just guessing, I haven't had the speech yet, because I'm not married. I wish Hashem would bring me my helpmate, but he has not. And I haven't received the CD for my Rav yet to know, but I think it's, well, I don't want to say something and then you hold me to it. It might be anal sex maybe as opposed to vaginal. I don't know. I'm just guessing in an abnormal manner. It was done if you were intimate in an abnormal manner before a consummated marriage. I guess it's before her consummated marriage. All right, I'm just going to give you the details. I really can't delve too deep into them right now yet because I'm not so well informed, and I'll get wiser as you get wiser. Hopefully, I'll stay a couple steps ahead of you. 2, if you were intimate in the normal manner. After the marriage was consummated, then you are beheaded. Wow. Okay. So these details are important to God, and now you're starting to think like him. Okay? This is how he thinks. That's why I started, when I organized the obligations, I put them in what, why, how order. That's how one rabbi, Rav Noah Weinberg at Aish Torah, taught us to do, and it's to do it that way, and it seems logical and wise. And I see Hashem operates that way. And then, so what is the obligation you're fulfilling? Why is the reason and the source? Like I gave you the reason, that's why I put it here. And then the how, I put it in before, during, and after because of stuff like this. What do you do before the mitzvah? What do you do during and after? And that's how I organize it so you can see it clearly. And I want to put it on one piece of paper, one obligation per page, right? And then you just, bam, and you memorize it like that and see all the details. There's no, I don't like, I don't know if you know Frank Zappa. He wrote this, it's a thing for drummers. It's called a black page. And it's just notes. My brother played it. It's like a rite of passage for, my brother's a drummer. For drummers to play. But I don't want Torah to be like the black page. And I noticed that when you look at the Gemara, it looks like the black page. And I don't want it. So I started going through in English, and I'm organizing it in my native tongue, and I've separated sentences using the comma and shifting the phrases down to the next line. That's how I write. Sorry if it's annoying to some of you. You'll see the way I write, how I summarize this. I use that method to try to impress upon you this way of organizing sentences. This is how we communicate with each other in sentences. I told my sister-in-law once, you got to master the comma. If you master the comma, you'll know how to speak. I speak like that. I could take information that I've never read before. I take a script, like if I'm going into an acting class, and they'll give me the script, and I'll just put in commas everywhere. And then I just read it, and I know how to say it because I've put the commas in. To be, comma, or not to be. That, my friend, is the question. And when you see things like that, you know how to express them with the right emotion. And then you get the part, and then you get the money, and then you get more gigs. And my business teacher in college said, you got to be so great they can't afford not to hire you. And you got to be so great for Hashem that he can't afford not to give you the highest level of Olam Haba, of the world that is coming, and also enable you to be immortal. You got to be so impressive to him that he says, you know something? I want this guy or this gal to stay here forever. How do we get that? Remove the weeds. Go in order. I'm very systematic. My dad was an accountant. He taught me how to use spreadsheets and organize things. It's just simple stuff. I don't know why other people do not write this way and speak this way. I see friends, lawyers, doctors, I guess they're a victim of Facebook or whatever, and it gives you only a little amount of time, and they don't want to spread out lines or anything, and they crumple it all together. As soon as I see that, I don't even read it. I'm so sick to my stomach. It makes me, it's almost like being on a plane and studying while you're on the plane. It makes me nauseous. I get dizzy. I can't even think that way anymore. It's too much verbiage. I'm speaking a lot about it because this is going to lay the groundwork for how we're going to master this information. Because you see there's details here and we need to master them. Okay, where are we? So beheaded. Wow. 3, if she was merely betrothed, if she was merely betrothed, which is different than being, I guess, actually married, right? Or had undergone a wedding ceremony but not consummated. Oh, so the consummation. There's 3 ways to consummate a marriage, to my understanding. And don't quote me on this. This terminology in English, I'm hearing it, some of the Hebrew words, Eris and Kedushin, and then you go into that Yichud room, there's 3 ways. Shtar, was it Shtar? Bia, and is it contract, something? And intercourse. There's 3 ways to consummate a marriage. But we'll get to it another time. I have to give you. That's from the Torah for us. But I guess it also probably applies to you because God's talking about it here. The Rambam's talking about it. So I guess it applies to you guys too. I notice a lot of things in there. You have different laws regarding divorce, you Gentiles. Something you go in the square and you remove, the husband removes something, I don't know if it was from her head, or unties her hair, and she's something like that, and she's free to other men. Something, we'll get to it, but I'm just letting you know it sounded a lot looser or a lot lenient, much more lenient than us, I think. Okay. There's a lot of things I don't know. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do a job here that I don't know why no one else does. And I don't know why they can't bring themselves to do it. And it bothers me. And I'm forced to do this. And I'm trying my hardest. So bear with me. Cut me some slack. I'll get it all together. I'm not a dummy. I'm sharp. I just need more exposure to some of the information. And your questions will wisen me up. So, all right, there's a lot here for a little more, a page and a half for allegation 4. Let me finish this. I'll check the questions, and we'll move on, God willing. So 3, if she was merely betrothed or had undergone a wedding ceremony but not consummated, then you are not liable. Okay, that's the Rambam. And I put a question mark there. I don't know why, but he's getting it from the Torah, from God. Some things he wasn't so sure of. And I had to, he's a Poseik. He was a Poseik, an authority, and he was trying to use his best educated guess, based on everything he knows of Torah, to come to a decision on how we're supposed to proceed, how you Gentiles are to proceed with these laws. 4, if you are intimate with your maidservant who is married to your slave, when made public, you are liable. So now we have this public concept, made public. There's a concept. Don't brag. Don't, how do I say this? There's what's done in public, there's what's done in private, and then there's what's done in public. Trying to do a lot of things in private. Don't be so public about stuff, or else you are sometimes held responsible for things, or people are yentas. They listen and they talk. And they see something and they'll say, oh, so-and-so is this, does this, or did that, blah, blah, blah. And they say to a friend, did you see what so-and-so did? He did. This is how people are. You don't want to be the object or the subject of their yentering. Just keep a private life and keep your mouth shut. And just be good to everybody in public. They should only see good things of you in public. Don't let them see anything bad or questionable. There's a concept called Mora'as Ayin, what's seen by the eye. You don't want to give someone what to say about you, like doing a chil Hashem, doing something that could be a desecration of God's name, chas v'sholom b'lein har, mercy and peace without the evil eye. You do something in public, and people look at that, and it's what's seen by the eye, and they then think things about you. I'll give you an example. You guys are on Facebook, and this group of Gentiles, you're violating everything. The ones that have the false religion of Islam, that there's no prophet there because he came after Bilam, and Bilam was the last Gentile prophet. You guys are saying things to defend your false religion, and you're actually even denying that the sky is blue. I see online. You can't even talk truth anymore. You guys come in with these fake profiles and whatnot, and you just put down anything. I saw some gentleman on Facebook, he was saying that it was a black fellow, and he couldn't understand why Israel is being labeled the aggressor when they were the victim on October 7th. And then these Gentiles over here are trying to manipulate the narrative, so they flip it around so that they were the aggressor, right? But they switch it around and make Israel look like the aggressor. That kind of stuff, you better be careful, because from my eyes, that looks like Mora'as Ayin. That's like what's seen by the eye. You're doing something that you don't know, that the sky is blue. You deny the sky is blue. You deny that there's a God. You deny that God created the heaven and the earth. You deny that God promised all the land in the world belongs to God, and he promised it to Abraham and to his descendants, to the Jewish people. And there are no such things as Palestinians. You deny that. There are only Jews and Gentiles, and Jews have a right to that land of Israel. Nobody else does. And you deny our rights. That's Mora'as Ayin to me. You're doing something that don't look right. You're acting like nut jobs. You're denying truth. You're insane. You're denying reality. You've broken with reality. Even if you're just doing a play game, your cosplay or whatever you call it, you're playing around in order to manipulate the narrative to make Israel, who's just trying to defend itself, into the aggressor, and you're calling us genocidal. You're the genocidal people. That's the reality. And when you do not acknowledge that truth, that's causing a Mora'as Ayin on you. So you're getting labeled, and no one's going to teach you the truth. I'm trying to save your life, and you're distorting truth. So I'm trying to give you truth, and you're not going to take it and accept it. That's, so I might, I had a big conversation with my Rav today, and, he's of that school of thought that if you're acting like a bunch of idiots, that he didn't use that word, but if you're acting in such a way where you deny truth and you do not want to know truth, then I might probably just should zip it and not give you any truth. So at what point are you going to start to be into truth? And I said to my Rav, I said, Rav, I got listeners on this show, and they want to know the truth. And they're coming here to find out why we're alive and how we fulfill that purpose properly. Okay, what's this comment here? Oh boy, what was that about? Folk music? A musician I see here. What are you trying to say? If you're still here, I don't even know if you're still here. See, so something like that. Oh boy, maybe you were just mimicking me, or what do you call it? Echoing something that I said. But see, if you're denying truth, you got to be careful. If we can't talk truth in God's world, what are you doing to him? You know, your methods of warfare for a false religion are just, they're insane. You're playing with insanity. You're promoting insanity. I say the sky's blue and you laugh at me. What a crazy person you call me, because I say the sky's blue, right? That's what you're doing, and it just carries over. I can then say, well, there's a God, and then you laugh at me. And then I see people making stupid comments about God, like, you know, I want to depose this ruler, someone said, you know. And then you take it to the next level, and you keep denying basic truths. And then you say that we're the occupiers, you're the occupiers. I didn't ask for any land. God promised it to me so that I could fulfill my 613 obligations. My fulfillment of those obligations is directly dependent on having that land. I cannot fulfill the land. I cannot fulfill my obligations without the land. I can only do 369 in Gullus, exiled from my land. You have no claim to the land. We are Jews, you are Gentiles. You want to convert, you can become a Jew. We'll help you. You got to fulfill 613 obligations. It's a big task. I said to you, make sure you can handle the 7 first. And then when you're ready, let me know and we'll talk about it. But there are no Palestinians. I'm tired of all these garbage titles that you invent to distort truth. Simple truth. God created the world. God owns the whole world. God can take any land from somebody and give it to whomever he wants. He can do whatever he wants. It's his land. He gave and promised the land of Israel to Abraham and to his descendants, to the Jewish people. We own that land in order to fulfill our obligations and serve God properly. It would behoove you, it'd be in your best interest to allow us to do that so that you get blessing through us when we fulfill all 613. Don't distort truth. Stop it already. We are your teachers. Stop talking to your teachers in a disrespectful manner. I said something to my Rav and I apologized. I'm trying to fight for truth, but for the truth that I see. I can't explain it right now. Too many details. I've said it to you before, and I'm trying to fight for what I think God really wants. And he comes from a different orientation, and it's difficult. And then I was trying to get him to see from my perspective, because he wasn't, and he was just making me see it from his perspective. And I said something, and then he said, you don't talk like that to your rabbi. And I said, I'm sorry. So I'm taking my Torah from him. Who else do I have? He's the only one on earth I found that I could take Torah from, that I feel comfortable with. I've met other people, other rabbis who are very sharp, but they do not have a Messorah. And I would be wrong to take their Torah. I know it's false. I know it's not as accurate as my Rav's. So I'm boxed in. I have to somehow, if I can learn the whole Torah, I have 3 Masechtas left in English. I can just get it done and then show him, Rav, look at this, and then organize it and outline it and know it better than him. I can figure a way. I'm going to get it. I'll figure a way. And then I'll come to him and I'll say, Rav, it's this sentence, put them all together, and it supports what I'm saying. And he'll say, I see it. I see it now. Now I see what you're saying. Then we got something there. All right, let's move on. I'm sorry. This is all important to you Gentiles. You got to know how we think. You got to know how there's a system here. I got to be subservient to the system just like you do. God is our ruler. He's our creator. He's our sustainer and supervisor. He feeds us and he judges us. We have to answer. We were created against our will, it says in the Torah. We die against our will, and we got to answer to him against our will. Sorry. Let's see. 4. If you were in the maid servant. So when made public, you are liable. Right. Again, 4. If you are intimate with your maidservant who is married to your slave, when made public, you are liable. You can be intimate with her again when you separate her from your slave and uncover her hair in the marketplace. Okay. That's what the Rambam says. I'm just telling you the principles. We got to figure out how to apply this in today's society. How are you going to get married? How are you Gentiles going to get married? Somehow you got to marry according to these principles that God, these laws that God has enumerated through the Rambam. Gentile divorce equals when her husband removes her from his home and sends her on her own, or when she leaves his domain and goes her own way. There are no written proceedings. There are no written proceedings. So like we have a get, that's a Jewish divorce document. I don't know if you have one. It seems you do not. I'll ask my Rav. Sometimes things could have changed since the Rambam's time, and maybe in today's world we do things differently. Either man or woman may decide to separate, and they are no longer considered married. So all you have to do is decide. A lot of people begin divorced, sadly to say. That's for showing. Okay. With a Jewish woman, so this is a Gentile male, how you have to relate to a married woman who's a Gentile, and now with a Jewish woman who's married, right, to my understanding. So 5, I just continued numbering them. If you were intimate with a married Jewess, you are liable, whether in a normal or an abnormal manner. Wow. Yeah, it's different with Jews. That's why I say, Gentiles, stay away from the Jewish people. Do not marry our women. In that regard, I'm trying to say, don't seduce our women. Gentile women don't seduce our men. Stay away, because it gets complicated, and then you could be held responsible for things, and you don't want to get in trouble. Okay. Again, if you want to convert, take on the 613. You're part of us, and then most likely, most Jewish women are available to you to marry, and Jewish men as well to Gentile women, but who convert. But there are some exceptions to that. We'll get into that later, I guess. 5. Whether you are liable, whether in a normal or an abnormal manner. 6. If you were intimate with a Jewish maiden who has been betrothed to a Jew, right? You are stoned to death. Rambam in Hilchos Malachim, chapter 10, law 5. Stoned to death, not beheaded. So here is, I guess I put that in because it's a different punishment. Sometimes there are exceptions to the punishment. Stoned. Now, why stoned to death? I'm just guessing. I'm going to put a reason maybe. I would think it's very demeaning to be stoned to death. Like what you did to this Jewish maiden, right? Like I have a woman who I think would be very compatible with me. But a Gentile moved in, so to speak, and I don't know if I could use the right word, seduced. He charmed her to like him when they both know she's not allowed to marry a Gentile and he's not allowed to marry. Well, he doesn't get punished, I guess. Oh, he gets punished for being intimate. But so, I'll have to ask my Rav on that one. I didn't think about that. So he's being punished because he's intimate with a Jewish woman, and she's being punished because I guess maybe we have our laws too. Could be she's being punished because she's being intimate with a Gentile, but if they marry each other, she's getting punished because she married. She's not allowed to marry. Those marriages are not recognized by God. Rav Moshe Feinstein, I even read somewhere, I'll double check with my Rav, he did not acknowledge such marriages as valid marriages because Hashem does not. They're forbidden marriage. It's like a Kohen marrying a divorcee. That's not allowed. So that's not a legitimate marriage according to God. Okay? So I think that just from based on what I know, I think he's stoned, this Gentile male is stoned to death because that's what he did to this Jewish guy. He took his woman, the Jewish guy's woman, a Jewish maiden who has been betrothed to a Jew. I guess that's like they're about to get married, right? Or something to my understanding. Don't quote me, and he sleeps with, and this Gentile male sleeps with her, and that's what that feels like. So now he's being stoned to death, so he knows what that feels like. Pelted with stones, hard stones, one after another or something like that. It's not like just getting your head chopped off, slip, and it's done. Like an animal gets shechted. I don't even want to say that. So I think there's a reason. That's why maybe to feel the Jews' pain, to feel the Jews' pain. You come in and now I can't get married to her because she's being blocked and held hostage. What a terrible thing. So I'm 60 and I'll never know what it was to I won't be able to serve God. I'll have to find another woman, and I have to find someone compatible with me and whatever, and so I can be fruitful and multiply, and I don't know if I'll be able to save the world in the same way because I won't have my helpmate that I thought God selected for me, so that's rough, and I won't know what that level of love is. I'll live my whole life. I thought about that level of love since I was a kid, because I saw my parents together. My dad was a musician, my mother was a musician, and when they were together, there was some type of bond of love that I had never seen before on earth. I'm just telling you the truth. Two musicians, they're working together, playing together, sharing, helping each other accomplish the goal of their musical pieces, and wow, I had never seen anything like that. I said, I want that too. Whatever. Okay, 7. If you were intimate with her after the wedding ceremony, oh boy, but not consummated, then you are strangled to death. Oh boy. Again, I would think that's what Rambam in Hilchos Malachim 10, chapter 10, halacha 5, law 5. Strangled to death. I think the Rambam's trying to, all I can think of is that God wants that Gentile male to feel what that Jew is feeling, because that's what I'm feeling. It feels like that. It feels like you get married and the Gentile sleeps with the girl, and so he'll be choked to death. He'll be strangled. I think they put a rope around and they pull on both sides. I think if I'm mistaken, I know strangulation. There's stoning, strangling, B and D. SSBD. B is beheading, and that's decapitation. B is burning. Burning, I think you stick, there's a molten something that goes down the throat, to my understanding. Interesting, I think they're both done with the throat. Strangulation. So stoning is coming at the body with all kinds of stones, the whole body. Strangulation is just the neck area. You suffocate, can't breathe, and you die. And burning, you burn the insides, I think, to my understanding. I got to double check. And then decapitation is just off with the head. So the reasons, I think that's what we're dealing with here, are reasons. Okay, 8. So that was 7. If you were intimate with her after the wedding ceremony, but not consummated. So that, I guess the Jewish man and woman did not go into the yichud room and consummate, and somehow this Gentile sneaks into her and has sex with her, and then he is strangled to death. 8. If you were intimate with a Jewish woman after consummated, so the Jewish man and woman now are in the yichud room and have intimacy with each other, to my understanding. My Rav's got to clear me up on this, because I don't know if it's a ceremonial thing to be in the yichud room, or it's actual, where you actually have intercourse with her. I don't know. Then you are beheaded. Wow, another punishment. So you got stoning, strangulation, and beheading. And you're missing the burning. Where's the burning? Now, beheaded, that's the normal way of killing someone for most of these offenses to the 7 laws of Noah, is death by decapitation, beheading. So why does Rambam have to say it and repeat it here? I don't know. Okay, so that's interesting. But these methods, stoning, strangulation, the next thing would be burning. Where's burning? I'll put that. Where's burning? That's 3, right? So these are questions, and this is going to help me chart it out. I'm looking at all the details. I'm trying to put it in like a chart type of way to understand what's going on here. Okay? Okay, here are the rest of the Gentile males. Let's pull this out. So that's if a Gentile male is intimate with a married woman who's a Gentile woman, right? And a Jewish woman. Okay? So now we move on to, again, the Gentile male is not allowed to be intimate with 4, your maternal sister. And I guess the Rambam just said simply your maternal sister. There wasn't any other details to know. That's a sister that comes from your mother, your biological mother, not a sister that comes from your father with his other wife that, to my understanding, that is not your biological mother. It is your maternal sister, the sister from your biological mother, right? 5, a male, whether a minor or an adult. So if a Gentile male is intimate with a minor or an adult, then you're held responsible, you're liable, and I believe you get death by decapitation. That's the normal punishment for violating this, to my understanding. 5, a male, whether a minor or an adult. Okay. Then we got, if a Gentile male, do not Gentile male be intimate with an animal, a domesticated animal, beast, or fowl, whether young or old. Only the Gentile is executed and not the animal. Now, why does the Rambam say that? I think because when a Jew sleeps with an animal, God forbid, I think the animal gets killed, because I heard a reason that every time the animal is walking in the square, people will say, isn't it the animal that so-and-so had intercourse with? And it can be very embarrassing. So they kill the animal so that there's no embarrassment for the Jewish person. Now, by the way, since I just brought that up, I noticed online some people take portions of our Talmud. I'm not really ready to answer this, so I'm just letting you know I'm going to look at it. I see I have it. made a copy, it's on my phone, of all the places in the Talmud that you think it says terrible things about Gentiles. Now, I know that in general, sometimes the rabbis are trying to delineate the truth, and they're very passionate about the truth, and they just lay down the truth. Look, I was online, and I felt that it was proper to help put an end to Christianity. So I said on Twitter, I said, God wants all Gentiles to fulfill the 7 laws of Noah. He's wanted that since Noah's generation. Then I said something like, God says, I guess, commands in the Torah, he commands, do not add to the Torah, do not delete from the Torah. Therefore, you're not allowed to write a New Testament. That's the end. That's the end of the whole religion. And that's the end of 10,000 religions. And anything that came before and anything that came after. When God said, do not add to my instructions, my one and only instructions, do not delete from my one and only instructions. That means if you were worshiping sheep and goats before the Torah was given, you better stop it now, because you're adding or deleting from God's instructions. So that's not an adequate, legitimate way to serve God, and it's not a religion. And by the way, Torah is not a religion. Torah means instructions. We're just following the instructions so that we live properly, and in the context of this health and fitness for immortality, we want to get immortality. These are the only instructions to follow if you want immortality. You're not going to get it from false religions. They're going to mislead you. Get out of them like the plague. Get away from them. But I'm giving you the proofs to enable you to leave them so you have a clear mind. And the simpler the better. I'm not trying to complicate things. I'm not a debater. I'm not looking to debate all the things. They can keep me here all day. I got rid of it in one sentence. I got rid of this one in one sentence, this one in one sentence. I can get rid of all of them in one sentence. Do not add or delete. Do not add to or delete from the Torah. God says it. Devarim 4:2 and 13:1. That's the end. These are his only instructions. Then I went on to say, because I know they're annoying and they'll bring up all kinds of stuff, like they're going to tell me who my Mashiach is, and I'm not really interested in their opinion, but they say to me, oh, Jesus was the Messiah. And I said, I'm sorry, Jesus did not fulfill God's qualifications for Mashiach. God enumerated, the Rambam wrote them out, what the qualifications are. They're all over the Torah. The Rambam knew the whole Torah, and he organized them. It's like 14 to 16 to 18 basic qualifications, and Jesus did not fulfill them. Our rabbis rejected him. That's it. Next candidate. Who's next? He's not it. Gone. Next. That's how it is. It's like an audition. Don't take it personally. It's like I go for auditions. They want me to. Can you play this piece? We want to hear you swing. Okay, laying it down so hard. Oh no. We wanted a little more of a lighter swing. It's not. We don't want any hard Wynton Kelly, Oscar Peter. We don't want none of that. We just want some light. It's for a restaurant. And then they're going to play music, and they want it just. They don't want. So I didn't fulfill the qualifications that they were looking for. Next. That's it. I didn't fulfill the qualifications. So next. Jesus did not fulfill the qualifications. So I wrote that, and then I said Christianity is a false religion. Fulfill the 7 laws of Noah. That's it. And I tried to help you. In one little post. Twitter only gives me a little area in which to write. So I have to definitely master the comma. I can't even use the comma. I got to use the lines. I got to somehow, it's there. I space the words in such a way so the comma implies itself. Because I don't even space to write the comma. I'm only limited on how many letters I can use too. 18. You only have 6 letters left. Oh, okay. -1, -2. Oh, okay. I'm sorry it's a little hard to understand, but I'm working within limitations. So that's that. Why did I say that? I'm going to finish up 4, and then we'll stop here for today. We got 3 more, 5, 6, and 7 of the 7. We're getting to it. These details are important. and I hope they're sinking in and you're thinking about them, mulling them over. I'll take questions in a minute. Okay, so Gentile female, do not be intimate with, and this is what my Rav told me, for your maternal brother. 5, a female, you are not punished, but it is not in the spirit of the law. So lesbianism, it's not in the spirit of the law. You know, by the way, just since we're on the topic, I always wonder why to myself do, let's say, females who are lesbians, right? Why does one of them have to act like a man? And when you have 2 men, right, why does one of them have to be effeminate and act like a female? I mean, if you're just going to be, if you're claiming to be male and female, well, you're denying it yourself. You're saying that one has to act like the opposite sex in order for it to work, right? Do you understand that? That's like illogical. I'm just making an observation. I'm not encouraging this at all. I'm not. I'm just saying I don't understand all these years why you think it should be permitted, and God says it's not, to have same-sex marriages or same-sex relations and be relating to each other intimately like that. God does not want that. He calls it an abomination. I just find it ironic that you're admitting it yourself by your actions. You're telling them in thought, feeling, word, and deed, one of them has to act like the opposite sex. Just something to think about. Whatever. It's illogical too. You'll never procreate. You'll never procreate like that. Then you got to turn to heterosexual people to have a baby. That's illogical too. Mind your own business. Find an island somewhere. Stay on the island with just same-sex people. I mean, it's not allowed. I'm not encouraging it. I'm just pondering it intellectually, trying to look at it and to show you that it's ridiculous. It makes no sense. And it's only, my Rav said, it's just pleasure seeking. That's all you're doing. You're not. We're here to procreate. We're here to fulfill obligations. One of the obligations, number 1 for us, is do be fruitful and multiply. Do procreate. That means I have to find a wife, a helpmate, and I have to marry her according to the Torah. That's actually an obligation. Do marry a woman according to the Torah. And then I have to be fruitful and multiply and be intimate with her for the purpose of fulfilling the commandment to be fruitful and multiply. It's all for God. Everything's for God. It's all for Him. He's watching us. This is a test world. This is not playtime at the zoo. We're not here for fun and games. We're here to serve God. Just breathe and get used to it. It's hard. I know. I know. Whatever. Let's see. So 5, a female, you are not punished, but it is not in the spirit of the law. 6, this is Gentile female, do not be intimate with. 6, an animal, a domesticated animal, beast, or fowl. I believe that's what the Rambam said there, to my understanding. Now, it's interesting because there's only 4, 5, and 6. I need to go back to him and get 1, 2, and 3. I think I tried, and the best result we could produce was 4, 5, and 6 at the time. And usually my Rav is rushing, and we did a lot of thinking on it, and that's the best we could do. I'm going to hold there and answer any questions if you have any, and we'll pick up obligation number 5 next week. What do you got? Anything? Nobody? Okay. Oh boy. Said hi. I said hi. You say hi and I say hi. All right, guys. I love you. Just hang in there. I know you've never thought like this before, and it's hard. This is just go with it. Enjoy it. Hashem doesn't overbear His creations, His people. He enjoy serving God with joy. Okay, let me say it better. Serve God with joy. Don't take any selfish gratification in it, but just learn His Torah, and the Torah itself is joyful. It promotes joy. It heals a person. If God forbid any of you are sick, study the Torah regarding your 7 laws of Noah if you're a Gentile. All right. Have a good week. Ponder all this information and make every action an obligation fulfilling action. Master these 7 laws of Noah. And we'll talk more next week, God willing. Okay? Bye-bye.